All right, we're about to kick off our August breakfast meeting. Welcome, 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 everybody. I would like to begin with a Pledge of Allegiance. So if we all could stand, face the flag to your right, our left, hands over your hearts, and if you would, keep in mind the final two words of the pledge and put extra emphasis when we hit those final two words. Let's begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. I would like to introduce at this time Bishop Oliver T. McCray Jr. Bishop McCray is the pastor of this wonderful Morris Chapel Baptist Church, and he's a gracious host. Thank you for allowing us to use your facility today. It is very open and inviting and welcome. He's going to give some opening words and an invocation.
Thank you so much, Bill, and all of our guests, to Senator Nicholson, to all of my favorite preachers that are sitting here, amen, all the clergy. We thank you so much for coming and being part of the Democratic Party. This breakfast, Morris Chapel, of course, in any church. We do not endorse any particular political party, but I have my own preferences. If you want to know, just ask me and I'll tell you how I feel. When it says liberty and justice for all, that says it all for me. And I hope and pray that we will continue to ignite this community. I hope that we can register more people to vote. I hope that we can get into our communities, as I really, really am passionate about, and trying to make a difference, especially for the poor and the voiceless. Thank you again for coming. Anything that we can ever do for you, we're here for you. And also, I'm looking forward to the fish fry. Senator Nicholson, fish fry coming up. I went to Jim Clyburn's fish fry, amen, and we're going to make this second to none, amen, amen. And let's give Senator Nicholson a hand and the fish fry, everybody, amen. I think that's coming up on September 11th, I believe it is, at the Boys and Girls Club, so we're looking forward to that. Make yourself at home. Anything we can do for you at Morris Chapel, let us know. Let's clap our hands one more time. Give yourself a hand.
Well, thank you again to our host. Thank you also to our breakfast crew. Raise your hand, wave your hands if you were involved in setting up, bringing the food, feeding us all. They got up at the crack of dawn this morning to make it here on time and make sure we had more than plenty to feed the masses. It's not quite 5 loaves of bread and fish, but it'll do the trick. So thank you very much for that. We also want to thank Connie Edwards. She was not able to stay this morning, but she did swing by, and she provided us the Chick-fil-A sandwiches that we're enjoying all today. So we want to thank Connie Edwards, and hopefully we'll see her at the next meeting. So just some directions. This is a new place for us, and it might become a semi-permanent place for us. We've got restrooms over there. Feel free to use them. Food over there, drinks and coffee. We've got more coffee than we know what to do with, so please help yourself. In the back, we have a literature table. Take whatever you can, and if not for yourself, to give to somebody else. We're investing in printing all this material, all these postcards. We want to see it spread all throughout Greenwood County. So please do help yourself. We'll always replenish with more. Feel free to take the pens, the folders, the handouts. We also have the Floyd's Fish Fry fundraiser table. George Swindell is handing out tickets for sale, as well as handing out tickets for you to sell in your community with your family and friends, so please do so. First timers, raise your hand if this is your first time coming to a Greenwood County Democratic Party breakfast meeting. Welcome, welcome. We are glad to have you, and we certainly hope this won't be your last time. I would ask any of the veterans, the regulars who come all the time, please make a note of who raised their hands and get to know them. We want to embrace them and make them feel welcome and want them to come back. For our elected officials, I see a couple in the audience. If you would raise your hand. I see Senator Nicholson, Representative Parks. Ms. Anderson, you're an elected official, semi-elected, you're appointed. Brenda is the chair of the Abbeville County Democratic Party, and she has come to join us today and steal whatever information you have or any ideas. Take it back and make Abbeville strong. Are there any military personnel, either active or retired? Please raise your hand. Oh my gosh, wonderful, so many. Thank you for your service, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate what you've done for our country. I also want to recognize any healthcare professionals. Anybody who's working in hospitals or in the mental health field, please raise your hand. We want to recognize you as well. Oh, I know there's one. Raise it high. Thank you so much for this. Obviously, we're back in an upturn in COVID with the Delta variant, and we appreciate everything you do. My daughter just started her career as a registered nurse up in Albany, New York. She started at a hospital 4 weeks ago, and so she's diving right into it. My heart goes out, and I get teary-eyed sometimes just thinking about all the hours you put in and the sacrifices you're making. So thank you very much. Finally, is there anybody here from outside of Greenwood County? Yes, I see 2, 3, 4, 5. We're visiting from the outside. Wonderful. We're glad you can make it. We try to incorporate other counties from across the state. We are stronger together. So I'm regularly talking with chairs of the Union County Democratic Party, Greenville County Democratic Party, Beaufort County Democratic Party. We're exchanging ideas, and we are growing stronger together. So let's talk about our agenda today. Some great lineup of speakers that I hope will inform and inspire. We're going to start off with Miss Andrea White. Then we'll hear from Tamisha Grant. We're then going to announce our Volunteer of the Month, the most coveted award in all of Greenwood County. Then we're going to talk about some motivation to action. And then our keynote speaker, Mr. Brandon Upson, who flew across the country, I found out, to speak with us today. And then we'll have an open forum and some closing thoughts. We will allow time after every segment for questions. If you have a question, I ask you to come up and speak to the microphone right here. Last month, we attempted to field some questions from those out on the lawn, and it was so hard to hear when people were trying to shout. So we want to make sure we get a recording of it. Please come up to the microphone and feel free to ask your questions so everybody can hear. So I'm wondering, is my time up? All right, so let's cover some latest news and updates. What has happened here in the Greenwood County Democratic Party in the last month? Well, first of all, and this was a very good piece of input from one of our members to talk about the finances. We're always asking for funds, we're asking for donations. And we tell you they're going to a very productive place to help our candidates and to help our message. So each month, we are going to share the financial transactions that have occurred, and we want to make sure you know where it's going to. So last month in July, as a party, we raised $628, which is pretty good for a July in a non-election year. We also spent $1,700. Now, before the shock hits you, that's actually a reimbursement of an entire year's worth of expenses. So that money went to printing all the brochures that you see in the back. It went to postage, mailing hundreds of people in Greenwood County. We got an extra microphone. We got a stand for our speaker. So all of that money did go into very productive things. It went into getting the message out into the community. We purchased advertisements. We want to keep our name known. We don't want to be known as a party that only comes out during election year. We want to be a party of the community every week, every month, every year, so that when election year does come, we're not scrambling to build the party back up after hibernation. We want to hit the ground running. We do, it was interesting. I went to a fundraiser in Anderson about a month back, and it was a big fundraiser, suit and tie affair, lots of speakers from all over. Mr. Upson was there. It was a really fancy affair. I heard that they raised almost $30,000 in one evening's fundraiser, which is, wow, that's incredible. And not only that, one of the speakers got up and said, there's no reason why, even there in red Anderson County, why the Democratic Party there should not have $100,000 in the bank that they build off of. Like, that should be the baseline. And then they build from there. And my jaw dropped. I don't know if we've raised $100,000 total over the course of 3 decades. But I mention that because we do have a tip jar in the back by our literature table. So feel free to give whatever you can to offset the costs of maintaining a party and printing the materials, etc. And if you happen to have $100K lying around, it's a big jar. Feel free to drop that in. We would be very appreciative. So thank you. But seriously, we are making great strides, and we are ramping up the fundraising. We have an Act Blue account, which is an online site. You can see reference to it on our website and on some of the literature that we have. The Act Blue account allows you to donate one time, anytime you feel it. You can use your credit card or debit card. You can also sign up to be a regular monthly donor. And we want to move towards getting a permanent office, a permanent headquarters where we can host our candidates, where we can do our phone banking, where we can have small meetings and store our materials. But getting a steady stream of donations every month has to come first before we can commit and lock into paying rent, paying internet, etc. So already we've got quite a few people who have started donating monthly through our Act Blue account, anywhere from $5 a month to $100 a month. All is welcome. I want to personally thank the Swindells, Karen and Bill Bright, April Tuminelli, Matthew Miller, and Paula and Hal Taylor, and of course myself. We're putting in various amounts on a monthly basis. We invite you to do the same. If we can get that steady stream, then we can broaden our horizons and go after some of the bigger things that we want to do as a party. So please, whether it's $5, $10, $20, or $100 a month, anything you can contribute will go towards that effort and be greatly appreciated. So the number one thing on my mind at the moment is going to be the world-famous Floyd's Fish Fry and Cookout, scheduled for September 11th, a Saturday, at the Boys and Girls Club in Greenwood, just a couple of blocks from here, as a matter of fact. From 11 to 3, we're going to have fish, hot dogs, hamburgers, and even some veggie plates for those that are of that persuasion. We ask you all to participate, whether it's buying a ticket, whether it's volunteering to run games, or to hand out food, or to work the ticket line. All the bodies we can throw at this, the better. We are aiming for over 250 people. We have 400 tickets, and we've already sold 150. So we're well on our way to beating our ticket amount. The more we sell, the more we're going to draw in some of those candidates statewide that we've been begging to come to Greenwood for so long. So please help out however you can. We do have a sign-up sheet in the back. If you can volunteer your time, and there's different activities that you can do, please put your name down and check off which of the activities you would like to sign up for. If you can cook hot dogs and hamburgers for 2 hours, if you can play some games with the kids for an hour or so, any little bit helps, and it goes towards making a wonderful event. We want this first one to be gangbusters. Is there anybody who deserves it better than Senator Floyd Nicholson, ladies and gentlemen? Is there anybody? Oh, it's got to be louder than that. Absolutely. We want that name to be synonymous with fish. It's going to get to a point we're going to forget he was a senator. He's just going to be known as the fish guy. We want it to be that famous. Rain or shine, it is going to be held. We're fortunate that they have a large indoor cafeteria, so we can keep up the festivities even if the weather isn't on our side. All right, we have some other volunteer activities I want to bring to your attention. Our community care movement, led by Ms. Wanda Moore, has been doing wonderful things this year. Our next activity is next Saturday, perhaps, given we got to take into account the weather and materials, but to prepare for Floyd's Fish Fry at the Boys and Girls Club, the outdoor picnic benches are in need of a little tender love and care. All right, they're a little worn down. And so we've offered to refresh them, to scrape them down, to paint them bright blue. They let us pick the color, so of course they're going to have some nice bright blue benches. If you are able to join us, we have a volunteer sign-up sheet for that. So please put your name down and we'll be in touch, and then more instructions will be forthcoming. But we do want the Boys and Girls Club, as part of our service to our community, to have some nice outdoor benches. We also have, next Saturday, a voter registration drive. Our alternate executive committeeman, Ahmad Hart, he's also the president and CEO of the Greenwood Garveyites. They're an activist organization here in town. They are sponsoring the second annual Black Market Commerce event. And it's going to be held in Uptown Greenwood near the fountain. And they're going to have vendors and booths and all sorts of activity, lots of foot traffic coming by. It's a wonderful location. We have been invited to set up a voter registration tent and table. We can also hand out literature. We would need a couple of bodies to do some shifts. If you can participate in that and help register some voters, and then we'll remind them next year when it's time to vote to get out there, we could use your help there as well. So please check out our table after this meeting and sign up for voter registration if you can do that next Saturday. I'm really happy with how the precinct leader movement is coming along. We are now up to 11 precinct leaders. And just since last month, we've signed on some new ones. I want to thank John Blocker, Wilma Johnson, Claudia Thomas. Claudia's here. Raise your hand, Ms. Thomas. Claudia. Reverend Willie Norman, he signed up. I saw you around, Mr. There you go, thank you. Reverend Norman signed up, as well as Leslie McCormack. So some new names, some old names, and I mean old as in you've been around with our party for a while. Some are new to our party. I'm not making any disparaging comments on your age. We're all young at heart. But thank you so much for signing up. We have 39 more precincts needing leaders. If you are able or want to learn more about it without signing up, on Thursday, August 19th, we're holding a 30-minute info session. So it's just an info session. It's a sales pitch to let you know what it's all about, what the time commitments are, and what the time commitments aren't, because it's not that big of a commitment. But we want to get all 50 covered by March of next year. So on Thursday, August 19th at the library at 5:15, we will have our info session. It will also be simulcast on Zoom. There's information about that as well. Guess where? Back there at our info table. So there's a sheet about precinct leadership. There's a little tag with the sign-up information. If you're considering it or just want to know what it's about with no pressure to sign up, please join us on Thursday. For those who are precinct leaders, who have signed up, we're going to have our first meeting and training session that same day as well at 7 p.m. at the library. So we're going to gather together and start planning out, even if it's just a few of us. That's how it always starts, right? Always starts with a little movement before it grows into something big. There's a parable about a mustard seed or something like that, right, Bishop? You have to refresh me on that one. But we're going to start small and then grow into something huge and powerful by the end of this. So Thursday is our Precinct Leadership Day. Please do join us. We could use all the bodies and all the help.